I now see what Rwigema accomplished. Rwigema was not done with that. He also mobilized top Rwandan business people, both inside and outside Rwanda, into the RPF leadership, not only for financing the war struggle, but also for mentorship and guidance in terms of the future economic development of Rwanda. Rwigema was extraordinary. Among the leading Rwandan business people Rwigema mobilized were Triba Tayabatwa, Rujugiro, Asinapo Rugigara, Vares Kajuguhakwa, and Mikor Waitare, the billionaire, Rwandan billionaire from Congo. Tribut was a billionaire who had acquired, was doing business all over the place. Most interestingly, Rwigema mobilized Tutsi business people from Rwanda and Singapore Wigara and Valence Kajuguhakwa. That's extraordinary. So here was Rwigema now with business leaders, with political leaders, Hutu and Tutsi, embarking on a beautiful journey of creating a united, democratic, prosperous, and peaceful Rwanda. Rwigema was extraordinary. Oh, Lord have mercy. Tragically, he was the first to leave us and depart from us. He left us. So once then Rwigema is out of the picture, what does Kagame do with this beautiful vision? Not only a vision, but a roadmap and the people united to take us to that vision and purpose. What did Kagame do? Well, the first thing he did was eliminated Rwigema himself and the entire RPF leadership. He takes over. And then he systematically begins to destroy and dismantle Rwigema's vision and purpose of a broad-based unity governance in Rwanda. Kagame's destruction of Rwanda's vision, of Rwigema's vision and purpose can be grouped into three strategies through which Kagame acquired total power, never seen anywhere, becoming a one-man killing machine. Most people abuse the word dictatorship to define Kagame. That is completely false. In fact, it's ignorance. Kagame is not a dictator. Next door, President Yoweri Museveni Kaguta Museveni is a dictator in power for 40 years, since 1986. But all the people that fought with him in his bush war are still there intact. They are ministers, they are generals in the army, they are public servants, and indeed, even those who oppose him, as in Kizza Besigye was not killed. He's in prison, in and out in prison. His business has thrived. This is what we call a dictator, somebody who has power and uses it to control, but not necessarily to kill. Even those who kill, if I may use again Uganda, Idi Amin, by all scenarios and discussions and research, Idi Amin never killed even half a million. Most people, most estimation are about 300,000 people. Here in Rwanda, we're talking about someone who has killed Tutsi, Hutu, Congolese, you name it, to the tune of over 10 million people. That is not a dictator. That's a monster. That's a killing machine. Somebody who has total power. As I have said before, the person who comes close to Kagame, but not quite, is literally as Isaias Afwerki. But he has a total power. He has no government, but he is a government like Kagame. But he has not killed people. Kagame is not a dictator. Kagame is a monster. So anyway, moving on forward, let's see how he destroyed Guillemard's beautiful vision of a broad-based unity governance in Rwanda. Strategy one, those leaders Guillemard worked so hard to recruit, the Hutu leaders, under the most difficult conditions, Guillemard mobilized them. These were the first Kagame trashed out. He threw in the dustbin. Alex Kanyarengwe lost chairmanship. Kagame became chairman. Bizimungu, president, lost his presidency, imprisoned. His advisor, Isaiah Kabera, murdered. Gone. All that within less than 10 years. Finished. Seti Sendashonga, of course, not only did he flee, he also lost his life. He was murdered. That was strategy one. That's how Kagame they began to dismantled Rwigema's vision and purpose. Strategy two, Kagame then took over the private sector by removing the very business people from their own businesses Rwigema had mobilized into the beautiful project of building a new Rwanda. Kagame seized the three Baturugiro's businesses, homes, tea estates, the $20 million UTC Center mall. Rujugiro died in exile, fled and died in exile, could not even come from home. Asinapur Wigara died mysteriously. His daughter Anne Wigara, who managed the businesses, also died mysteriously. The businesses were seized. His beautiful hotel in Kiyovu demolished. Then Kagame seized the values, the businesses, including his bank. Kagame fled into exile, enticed back, where he now lives as a beggar, as a street beggar. The Rwandan businesses vanished, taken over, destroyed. Kagame's Crystal Venture Limited becomes a multi-billion dollar business that controls pretty well much of the Rwandan private sector. That is a strategy too. Then strategy three, it comes to where we are now. Destroy Tutsi elites and reintegrate. Destroy and exile Tutsi elites and reintegrate and draw from exile the Hutu elites to become his conspirators in his criminal enterprise. This one, destroy and exile. Patrick Karegeya. Patrick Karegeya, I always remind you that in December, if I remember the 20 correctly, of 2013, he was in my house in Johannesburg. We were in Johannesburg having dinner, and we were laughing, and we were saying, we were saying that, my God, if Kagame has a satellite and sees us together here, sitting together here laughing, enjoying, he will send a missile and destroy both of us in one go. That December, that very December, in the last days of December, I went to Canada to visit my family, where my family lived, because they had gone back out of fear. It's from Canada that I learned that Karegeya was murdered just days after joking about our death. I cry for Karegeya every day that I remember I recall his name. Funny guy, distinguished knowledge person, a scholar, a leader, a military strategist, gone. Kayumba Nyamwasa had already survived 3 assassination attempts. It goes on and on and on. Metri Rusagara mentioned about me in the introduction. I can't go up into how many times I survived, including surviving a kidnapping in Nairobi, saved by my Canadian passport and Canadian government intervention. So while he was destroying destroys the Tutsi leaders, he was there from the opposite side and exiling from the opposite. While all the Tutsi governmental and institutional leaders either died, imprisoned, or fled into exile, Kagame was strategically drawing back into Rwanda, exiled Hutu elites back to Rwanda, including the names Rusagara mentioned. Pierre Rwigema, whom they had charged with genocide, came back and was appointed as in the East African Legislative Assembly, a leader for Rwanda. Nduhungirehe, the spokesperson of the killing machine, is a foreign minister now. He voted. He's a senator. And now, Justin Sengyumva, on whom Rwanda had unleashed Interpol arrest warrant because the regime claimed he was corrupt, just came back and is the prime minister of Rwanda, solidifying Kagame's trend of Hutu reintegration. That is where we are. Ladies and gentlemen, as if that wasn't bad enough, the reintegration of Justin Sengyumva raises another danger. It exposes how naked we are. Rwanda's political parties, civil societies, all of us out there, we are sitting ducks for Kagame, who has infiltrated. He has his spies among us. Sengimana, Sengyumva, was no less than a senior cadre in the Rwandan National Congress. Ladies and gentlemen, not only are we facing evil in Rwanda, we are also facing evil among us here in exile, in our political parties and in our civil society institutions. May God save us. May God save Rwanda. I end it on that sour note. God bless you all.
Thank you so much, Dr. David. This was really powerful. You have reminded us not only of the brutal reality of Kagame's rule, but also of the original vision that brought hope to so many. The vision of broad-based unity and inclusive governance that the late General Fred Gisarguijema so passionately believed in. So it is really heartbreaking to witness how that noble project was hijacked and dismantled, not only through policy, but through the silencing and killing of the very men and women Rijema had entrusted with rebuilding a united Rwanda. So tonight, we honor their memory and we say, may Frederick Rijema rest in peace, and may all the patriots he recruited and mobilized, those politicians, soldiers, and business people who were murdered in the shadows of betrayal, be remembered with dignity. Their vision lives on through those who continue to struggle for justice, truth, and genuine unity. Thank you again, Dr. Himbara. I will ask Ali the second speaker to activate his mic. Prince Ali, are you there? I just wanted Ali today to speak about the case of the former ANC member Justin Senjumva, but it looks like he's not ready yet. With your permission, Dr. David, can we?
I'm
Uh,
sorry. Uh, sorry. Do you hear me
oh,
now?
oh, yeah, we hear you, Ali. Ali, you can go ahead and speak to us about the case of Dr. Justin Senjumva, a former RNC member who has now joined Kagame's regime as the prime minister.
Okay, first of all, let me greet everybody and thank them for joining us for this discussion. And thank you for organizing it. But again, thank Dr. David for his remarks and discussion and reminding us of the journey. Most people don't know this journey, of course, but those of us who are following it closely, who had a chance to know what General Rugema was all about, who had a closer uh, 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 closer contact with whatever he was doing or his vision, feel very sad that his project was hijacked, but not only hijacked, it was misdirected and it got lost in translation. It is very sad. But I believe one day some Rwandan or some Rwandans will be able to recapture that vision and make it happen. We in RNC, we try very much to do it, of course, coupled with other people who didn't know Rejema, to make sure that we improve on it, although it was too good to be improved on. But we think we are going to improve it, adapt it for the days of today, make it happen in such a way that it puts into the historical past we have passed in through since the 1990 when he died up to today, and hope that when this time we do it, even Rujema where he is or looking upon us will be proud and say, these people uh, uh, regained my vision, improved on it, and made it happen. For me, I passionately believe that's going to happen. The time is, of course, it is taking long. It's a bit elusive, but one day we shall get it. And actually, seeing what is happening now is a sign that this thing is about to happen. So I thank David once more for reminding us of that, how he managed to galvanize, to bring together runners of all walks, to make them share the vision he had in a manner that a young person like him wouldn't have managed. This was after he had also helped Uganda itself rid itself of dictators, although, as David has said, other things might have happened, but he helped Uganda. And from the experience he got from Uganda, he galvanized Rwandans, and they are what they are today because someone hijacked that vision, and we are here trying to make sure that happens again of course, sharing with others who have other what. So you asked me to have this discussion about, and by the way, I totally agree with what David has said, and you are heading the Tutsis to Kagame are fodder. When I mean fodder, for them, he's there to use them, and when he wants to trash them, in his own words, he said it is a system. When he was referring to those he had exiled, those he had killed, it is a system. It's like a body system. You put in the food, it uses what it needs, and then trashes the other as rubbish or shit, if you want. So to Kagame, he sees the Tutsis that were at the center of that Rijema vision as trash. And now he brings in other people that who can only accept, or who can only accept, support his hijacking and misdirecting and creating all these other contrary vision, a vision that contradicts, if at all it is a vision that contradicts what Rijema had set out. He brings them to the table while eliminating those who were championing or who were putting that vision together. It is not only the elite Tutsis that he has exiled, killed, and imprisoned, and all the bad things, all the negative things you can think of, but also progressive Hutus and elite Hutus who dare share the vision Rwigema had, have to be in trouble. A classic example is the Pastor Bizimungu. Others are the Twagiramungus, the Senda Shongas who fled, and all the others. The Alex Kanyarenge, the way he was demonized, and the way he died, everyone knows. This was someone Rwigema had identified and brought, and he bought into the vision of Rwigema, but Kagame thought he wouldn't work with him. So it's a tragedy of Rwanda, but today you have asked me to discuss on Justin Senjumva, who was our member of Rwanda National Congress here in the UK. Justin Senjumva is someone I know very well. I knew him when we recruited him to join RNC in 2013. That was about closer to about 2.5 years when RNC had been formed. Remember, you all know it was formed in 2010, December 2010. So we started here in UK. We started mobilizing and recruiting and doing that until we went to the north, where Justin was staying in Bolton and Manchester United area. To we mobilized them. Then eventually in April 2013, that's when they officially joined us in Rwanda National Congress. We found him a very clever guy. He's knowledgeable. He has the skills. He has everything. And actually, it contradicts what Kagame says, that RNC is fond of people who are failures and whatnot. So on one side, those failures, Kagame picks them and appoints them up to the highest position in government, because the other position is meant for Kagame alone, the presidency. So if we can pick someone who from RNC to make him a prime minister, it shows you that whatever claims they have been making against RNC and the opposition, that they have no clue, they are useless, they are what, that all this, makes all those claims null and void. But on a serious point, this guy was good. He helped us do a lot of stuff in terms of mobilizing, in terms of writing, doing our diplomacy. He would write the letters. He would do. We had very many good moments that we have to, on my behalf, as a RNC. We always say we would recognize what he did while he was in RNC, while he shared the values, the principles, and most importantly, while he shared the vision of RNC. What is the RNC vision? The RNC vision is a united Rwanda where all Rwandans are free and all Rwandans live in peace. A Rwanda where the rule of law, genuine rule of law, is what is what is practiced, and every Rwandan has peace of mind that they are innocent until proven guilty. That is the vision for his actions. Not to blame others as something that is against their leadership or whatever. This is what we shared with Justin Senjumva when he was still in RNC, and he demonstrated it very well. We went on many ways to mobilize people. This is what he sold everyone. I know some of our colleagues in opposition, other parties where we are in alliance with and where we shared all these, feel let down. But this is the Rwandan story. Dr. David has said it. Rwandans have this tendency of betraying the very vision they first enjoyed or shared with others, and in the process, they betray all Rwandans and the country. He's not the first one. We have had very many who have betrayed the visions of their parties from different groups. But for him, he's special because of what happened to him. This is the guy who was a permanent secretary, and he shared a lot of things to us, telling us how the apparatus of the Rwandan system worked. He's the one who shared to us how he was, as a permanent secretary in Ministry of Education, he was instructed to transfer money sent by international organizations, by countries, to banks, either in Mauritius, in Singapore, and in any other banks around the world, just for Kagame's purpose. And then he would just do what? His role was to try and defend or doctor the accounts so that it shows that everything is okay. He told us all this. I'm not making it, but everyone knows it. He told us that there was when they brought the $1 each child computer stuff. Of course, there was money from the World Bank. There was money from Bill Gates, Bill Gates Foundation. There were funds from all over to make sure that they give every Rwandan child a computer. Fake computers were brought, and of course, I think he didn't share the money with his bosses properly, and he was left to be the sacrificial lamb. He was imprisoned, and as on his way from the prison to the court, I think that's how he managed to escape, according to him. All Rwandans know that this man was in the papers as someone who was wanted, as someone who had run away, but who had a case to answer. He was put on Interpol. Of course, as we know, Kagame abuses the Interpol, but now the same guy who was put on Interpol and whatnot, with the case to answer, is the same guy rewarded with being a prime minister. I don't know whether he did it, but I know that in the process, he himself must have made the money. Because as a refugee here, he bought a house and bought other houses straight away and other things. That was his money, that was his business. For us in RNC, we assume that everybody is innocent until proven guilty, as Evale have told you. But it didn't shock us to see him going back to RPF. The reason I'm saying this is because over time, he started defending things that were contrary to the core principles of RNC. One case that came in that I cannot note is when this, you all remember when this thing of the naming of the horrendous killing of our brothers, the Hutus. I say our brothers because me, I'm a Tutsi, of the Hutus, when he was behind the people who were moving for it to be called a Hutu genocide. We in RNC, we know that the Hutus were horrendously and abhorrently killed, but we don't have, our principles tell us that to name something, it must be done by the right institution. It must be done in the right way. We cannot come and just put things out there and say this is this when really it is not, because that is one of the things we blame Kagame, and we are fighting to change so that a proper institution that has the right tools and the right means to name something should do it. So we disagreed on that, on a matter of principle. The principle of saying let institutions that are meant for something do it, but not a political organization coming and taking over all institutions like it has happened in Rwanda. He wasn't happy, and since then, things took another turn. But we know that Kigali always approaches people like even many posts in Rwanda, whereas other FDL are being blamed. Those people who don't know even, who had even no power. The founder is awarded in Rwanda. Those who joined are blamed for being FDL, or they are seen as the people who did genocide. We know that people like Kigurube, you hear of Kigurube, these genociders in Rwanda, they dine. They dine, they hang out with Kagame himself and even his wife, and they take pictures with them. But genocide survivors like Idamanje, like Karasira, are put in prison. Others are killed like Kizito. That's the daylight between Kagame's Rwanda and the Rwanda RNC visions. We vision a Rwanda whereby if someone is alleged to have done wrong, then they should go through the courts of law and be proven innocent or proven guilty by the courts. We see a Rwanda where a vision of Rwanda where the victims of any wrong should be supported by the government, should be supported by the community, but not be killed or put in prison. They should be given support. But the Kagame's Rwanda is to kill them and reward those at one time he claimed were wrong. So this didn't come as a surprise to us. We might have even many more defections. We believe in a democracy, and we are fighting for a democratic Rwanda. In a democracy, people cross the floor. Some people can leave Republican and become Democrat. Some people can leave Conservative here in UK and become Labour. They can leave Conservative and become join the Reform Party. They can do all those kind of things. They can leave, and vice versa. So as long as they do it in good faith, as long as what they do it in the right way. But in Rwanda, we have a situation whereby there is no democracy, where there is a proper totalitarian regime. I agree with David, that's not a dictatorship, that's a totalitarian regime. Even from the remarks of Kagame when he was swearing in that same Justin Senjumva, you heard him what he was saying, blaming everyone else but Kagame himself, and yet claiming, admitting that he's the only one who has been in cabinet since RPF took over in 1994. All the others are gone. But he's blaming everyone else, even blaming his partners. That is the West partners who have been sending that money, part of it, part money of capacity building in education. The money I've just been saying, Justin Senjumva, when he was permanent secretary, was instructed to divert to other banks, knowing very well that that money is going to Kagame's accounts. But the same Justin has gone back to that to work with that government or to work for that government, and he was categoric, Justin himself, showing you that his values, the values we shared with him while he was in RNC, have evaporated from his mind, or he has decided to do what? To part with them when he said he is going to serve Kagame. His allegiance is to Kagame, not to Rwanda, the country, not to Rwandans, the taxpayers who are supposed to pay his tax, or the Rwandans he swears to serve when he's swearing by the constitution. The constitution of Rwanda is clear. It gives sovereign to not to Kagame, but to Rwandans. The sovereign of that Rwanda is to